Welcome to the conversation. My name is Shannon Taylor. I'm the Executive Director of Blacks and Jews in Conversation, and we finally have put together this program with the Honorable Benny. Welcome to the conversation. My name is Shannon Taylor. I'm the Executive Director of Blacks and Jews in Conversation, and we finally have put together this program with the Honorable Benny Kashriel, Mayor of Dumim, and Mel Parnes. And it has taken us quite some time to get this program together, but the mayor from Dumim has some time here. And thanks to Mel, we've gotten him here on short notice, and he's been flying and he's been talking, and we have some hot button issues. And the very first question I have for both Mel Parnes, the Executive Emeritus of B'nai Zion, and Mayor Kashriel of one of the largest cities beyond the Green Line in Israel, is what do you think of the pending formation of the new government of Israel?
You first.
Go ahead. Mayor.
Welcome. Our new government that is trying to be established by the Prime Minister Netanyahu is really pro our city, Ma'ale Adumim. He visited us a lot. And his last visit in September, he promised us to keep building and develop our city. And we want to wish him a lot of success, and we accept from him that he will keep his promises. We hope that this government will be a strong government that can face all the problems of Israel, economy and the security problems. And
Mel, are you optimistic? Do you believe that Ma'ale Adumim will benefit from a new government headed by Benjamin Netanyahu, or do you believe it will be more of the same battles, especially for funding?
Well, for funding it should be a little bit easier than it was under the previous government, but I believe that Bibi really will try to help the city of Ma'ale Adumim, which is, as you almost correctly stated in your opening remarks, it happens to be the largest city beyond the Green Line and has a population now of 37,000, and by the end of this year will cross the 38,000 hopefully. It is a very young city. It needs a lot of support and help from the American community as well as from the Israeli government. And we hope that Mr. Netanyahu will keep his word and help to build the infrastructure in Ma'ale Adumim and allow the continuation of building of homes and schools and community centers that are so necessary for the city to continue to thrive.
Mel, what do you think about Secretary of State Hillary Clinton now? She was formerly a senator from New York State to Washington. How do you see her role now as Secretary of State regarding Israel and Ma'ale Adumim?
Well, I know and respect what she did as a senator from New York in terms of Israel and the city of Ma'ale Adumim. A number of years ago, she wrote a letter in which she stated in no uncertain terms that the education system in Ma'ale Adumim was doing a terrific job, and that she hoped it would continue to prosper and succeed in educating the young people in Ma'ale Adumim. And we hope that as Secretary of State she will maintain that same position and not give in to the left wing that is so pro-Palestinian that it doesn't really care about the people who live beyond the Green Line.
The two of you have been friends for a long time. Tell us something about that relationship between Bnei Zion and Dumim and you two gentlemen.
Bnei Zion organization is a real Zionist organization and adopted our city. They came to Dumim, leaded the organization, Mr. Mir Parnas, my friend. When they came to Dumim, they saw our needs, they saw what kind of population we are. A lot of young couples from Jerusalem and all the area coming to live in Dumim. And among those young couples, we have a lot of new immigrators, Olim Chadashim from the United States, Russia, and Ethiopia. So when they decided to adopt our city, they supported us to build our library, public library, beautiful library we have. And now they are working to build our music center, the conservatory. And in all those years, they helped the poor families in Dumim, bringing scholarship to their children to finish their high school as well as they can. And believe me, we are now one of the best cities in the education system in Israel.
Mel, what would you add?
There's very little to add, except that Benny and I have become very close friends over the almost 15 years that we've been working together and building the city. The city had about 17,000 people living there when we started to help. It's now 37,000. So in the short period of time of 15 years, it's more than doubled in size. Benny has been the mayor all that time, and he has done a fantastic job. The city is probably the most beautiful city in all of Israel. It's laid out according to a well-thought-through plan. It has green areas. It's beautiful. It has all of the needs for their citizens, but it's still a young city and has a lot more room for growth and needs a lot more help. And we intend to continue to help build it.
Now, fortunately, America's Israel Friendship League and Bnei Zion sponsored the judges of New York State and Arizona and other states on a mission to fact-find all over Israel what was going on, and focused on Dumim. And then, of course, our chairperson, Judge William Thompson, was honored by Bnei Zion and for a championing of the continuation of Dumim's amazing growth, and that you're going to be over 38,000 this year, and that approximately 35% of Dumim are kids under 18 is just amazing. And I can testify to the beauty and the wonders of that city as it looks over the hills overlooking Jerusalem. And if I remember correctly, you had some problems with growth. There was like a barrier, an artificial barrier set up whereby you could not go towards Jerusalem. You were limited in how you could grow. Would you comment on that, and if that situation might change under the new government?
Until now, the government didn't want to build between our neighborhoods, between us and Jerusalem. But it was only the last government. All the other governments before, they supported us to build this place. And right now we are ready to build this neighborhood, and I hope that the government, led by Netanyahu, as he promised, will let us to build it. This place will bring us another 3,500 new families to Dumim. And with those 3,500 families, we will cross the 50,000 residents in Dumim. And as you said before, 35% of our population are children. So we need to give them the best education, the best schools, the best kindergarten, the best children daycare, the best library, and all the education facilities to make them the best students. And after it, they are going to the army, so we want them to be the best soldiers. And after they are going to universities, and then they are going to help our society while they are finishing the university. So our aim, our goal is to give them the best of the best in our city. And thanks to people in America, especially Bnei Zion organizations, we are succeeding to be one of the best places that education, it is in the highest priority of the municipality system, and it is true that our education is very well known all over the nation of Israel.
Benny, talk about the new aeronautical high school.
You mean the Air Force
Right.
High School. The Army decided to build the Air Force high schools in Ma'ale Adumim, and not in Jerusalem. And it is not because they believe in our education system. And this high school now it is number one among all the Air Force high schools in Israel. We got the best prize in science and robotic project. And in this year, in 2-3 months, our students from these high schools coming to Washington, D.C. to present their project.
I understand you have the finest aeronautics high school, and certainly as a past librarian, I was very happy that previously, and honoring Judge Thompson, proceeds went for library. But I'm terrified as a member of a previous fireman's band that you do not have a firehouse in Ma'ale Adumim, and that actually a poor kid died, another one had smoke damage, and you still have no firehouse. You have to depend on your neighbors, and everybody knows that the firehouse is essential to the beginnings of a community, certainly one your size. And somehow or other, the money for this doesn't come from the national government any more than the security doesn't come from the national government. Would you comment on your need for the firehouse and why that hasn't happened?
Unfortunately, we are taking care of our security, not like in Tel Aviv, for example. In Tel Aviv, the government and the army and the police taking care of the security of Tel Aviv. But in Ma'ale Adumim, the government says that we have to take care of ourselves. It cost us a lot of money, more than 6 million shekels. It's about $1.5 million. And the fire department doesn't have the money to build us a firehouse in the residential neighborhood. We have a very old system of fire housing in our industrial park. It is far from our residential neighborhood. Last year we had a terrible thing that happened to Ma'ale Adumim. One of our children have been killed from smoke when his apartment was burned. So if we had the fire department in the residential neighborhood among these buildings, I think that we could save him. I hope that my visit here in the United States will help us to build the fire department in the residential neighborhood, and I'm now asking the donators, the good people that you have in America, to help us to build it. It cost us more than $700,000, and in this fire department in the residential neighborhood, and with the help and support of the good people, we will build it.
I think we also should add that one of the new developments in Ma'ale Adumim are high-rise apartment houses that go up 9 and 10 stories high. And while they have pumpers for fire trucks, they don't have a hook and ladder situation, and they need a ladder that will reach up to the higher floors in the event of an emergency above there. And that can cost a substantial amount of money, and we have to raise that for them as well. Unfortunately, with the situation of the defense of the country being what it is, the government of Israel can't at this time hand money over to the fire department so they can just go out and buy equipment whenever they decide they need it. So somebody has to help, and that's where we, the American community, comes in. This is still the only democracy in the Middle East, and we must support it and maintain that democratic spirit.
When I used to do more mainline television, such as Jackie Mason's show on Channel 9, they didn't have bunker suits for the firemen of New York City, and many firemen had their legs severely burned, and Mr. Mason brought on the firemen and the fire chiefs, and they demonstrated what bunker suits were, and they put enough pressure on the city and on the budget that now we have bunker suits for quite some time for firemen. How could one go about in Israel getting the Israeli government to acknowledge the need to have every community in Israel have the basics of a fire station. I understand that if somebody sets up a home that's Jewish, that doesn't have the requisite permits, that home has to come down if somebody objects, whereas non-Jewish Muslim population can put their homes all over the place and nothing is done to take them down, basically. But in this matter, there certainly should be enough public interest to want to safeguard the Jewish population that some means must be available in Israel to get you a firehouse. Mayor.
Yeah, our government has a lot of problems. So right now we don't have a government that's coming in, but we have budget problems in Israel, and unfortunately we are not in the high priority, in high priority of the government or any priority of this government, and we have to take care of ourselves. When it comes to the Arab villages around us, the government running to support them, but when it comes to us, they are escaping from their obligations, and this is the reason that I'm here in America to ask my brothers, my sisters, the Jewish brothers and sisters, and then not only the Jews, everyone that knows that it is human being to help us. And I hope that next year we will succeed to build this fire department in Ma'ale Adumim, and will prevent more casualties that we had before.
Mel, B'nai Zion has been instrumental in raising hospitals in Israel and placing colleges in Israel. Has B'nai Zion ever tackled the problem of basic community services beyond the Green Line? And how does a community like Ma'ale Adumim function? What is the governmental structure, and how has it existed all this time without a firehouse?
Well, I'll leave the governmental structure up to my friend the mayor, because he's much more familiar with it than I am. But let me deal with the first part of your question, in B'nai Zion and community services. We are doing whatever we possibly can, not only in Ma'ale Adumim, but in other parts of Israel as well. As you stated, we built a hospital in Haifa. We support a home for disadvantaged children in Kiryat Bialik in the north called Ahava. And we built the library, and now we're building the music conservatory, and we have helped the city of Ma'ale Adumim to feed the poor around holiday times by sending over money. We've given them funds for scholarships, not only for high school and college, but wherever they needed. We've helped them by getting a Torah dedicated for one of their new synagogues. We got them a fire pumper when they needed a fire pumper. We've done a lot within the municipality of Ma'ale Adumim to help the city, and we will continue to do so. We will do it not only through B'nai Zion, but also through the Ma'ale Adumim Foundation that is here in the United States, and anyone who wants to help us in any of these projects can get in touch with us through the B'nai Zion office or through the Ma'ale Adumim Foundation by just checking on the website of B'nai Zion or calling me at 212-725-1211. We'll be happy to give you whatever information is necessary and put you in touch with the foundation so that you too can help and have that feeling of pride and satisfaction that I get every time I talk about Ma'ale Adumim.
Mayor, what about the infrastructure of the community?
The infrastructure of community, we are taking care of the community very well. We are trying to do our best that this city will be clean, strong, developed, and have all the facilities. Will have all the facilities to serve the population, the residents in Ma'ale Adumim. And Baruch Hashem, thanks God, we are doing.
What's the political structure? How's the city managed?
The political side, the city managed by the council of Ma'ale Adumim that is elected every 5 years. And
how many people are on the city council?
In the city council we have 15 people, including the mayor, and we are not representing any political party. There are very good people that want to contribute to the city, and they are running to the council to contribute and to work to be active for the city, and this city is very well known that everyone, every council member, helping, supporting in all the ways that he can the city. We don't have a lot of disagreements. We don't have arguments between us, because we know that if we will have arguments and if we will fight each other, the city will get hurt. So we are doing our best to work together and to advance our city as much as we can.
Let's explain to our audience exactly the scope of this community. For first viewers, it's awesome. You are traveling outside of Israel for a small distance.
7 kilometers.
7 kilometers.
From
Mel, how much is that in miles here?
About 3.5 miles, 3 miles.
All right. And 3.5 miles, which in New York City terms is a subway stop. And you're going up in the hills, and you're having a panoramic view, and you're seeing buildings that would rival the Italian and French Riviera. And within that community are soldiers. We're talking youth that defend the entire country, who are doing ordinary, everyday lives. And they are living with basic necessities, and nobody is giving them a handout for anything, and they are applying their trades as we would do here. And I still have to harp on the fact they don't have a fire station, which would preclude me from ever entering that community, but I presume they have a band. And they have a music station, and wonderful people that all the judges literally fell in love with when we had a tour of over 16.
Let me remind you, though, that they do have an old firehouse in the industrial section, which is approximately a quarter of a mile away from the heart and soul of the city. So that it's not like it takes an hour to get the fire engine into the residential area. But every few minutes is critical when you have a fire dealing with people. And to move that firehouse into the residential area can certainly save lives over the years, and that's what we hope to do. But I wouldn't want to scare people away from Ma'ale Adumim by thinking that there's no fire protection whatsoever.
I wasn't implying such a thing. I'm saying you're living in a crisp community. You're living essentially in the desert. You've carved out the desert, something not carved out anywhere else in the world. The rest of the world is dry and lacks water and doesn't know what to do and depends on the inventions of Israel how to irrigate its crops. And every time Israel comes up with an invention, all of a sudden the rest of the world has water. But at the same time, they're not giving you the firehouse in the residential area that we have in every residential community in America. And at the same time, when you're looking at the community, you don't think of the basic necessities. You're seeing a thriving community. And for some reason, there's this bias that exists in the Jewish community primarily, that this community is outside the green line and therefore it's not entitled to nature preserves, it's not entitled to money, it's not entitled to the security that the government provides elsewhere, it has to fend for itself, and Arabs can go squat anywhere and Jews have to be evicted. And this kind of dichotomy doesn't mesh with me. I'm speaking personally.
You're 100% right.
And I'd like your own comments on this. How do you feel, do you sense this dichotomy?
I want to tell you something, Shannon. Our fire department doesn't operate only in Ma'ale Adumim city. We are supporting 5 communities around us until the Dead Sea. And you have to know how much important this fire department, not only to us, but to all of this area. I hope that our government, the new government, will be smart enough and think logically that to build this fire department finally in our residential neighborhood and to expand it, that we can help the other communities better than we do now. But anyway, we will do our best with the government or without the government. Our city expanding. It's a lovely city, growing all the time. A lot of young couples coming to Ma'ale Adumim. A lot of people. Even new immigrators from the United States, they believe in our city and they're coming to our city because they believe in all our systems, education and all the other municipality systems that we have.
They had close to 40 American families moved there in the last 6 weeks.
and hopefully they will live in peace. And I know I'm wearing a tie that I got from Yale University. It says in Hebrew Yale. And everywhere that we go with our members, with the judges, and we went to Yale several times, there were many alumni who were judges, we addressed the subject of Israel and the diversity and the dialogue and the many, many communities that exist side by side. And as long as there are no outside interlopers, they exist in relative harmony, and they exist with a coexistence that allows them to thrive. And Ma'ale Dumim is no exception. Now, are you not surrounded by various communities of all different backgrounds and ethnicities, and what is your future with those communities?
Look, a lot of, I will tell you, we have Palestinians, villages around Ma'ale Dumim, not around close by Ma'ale Dumim, one of them called Azariah, with 60,000 residents, and not far of us there is Jericho City with another 60,000 residents, and with his suburbs. We have very good relations with those Palestinians. They are working in Ma'ale Dumim, more than 2,000 Palestinians working in our industrial park and in other places in the city. They are bringing, they have jobs. 2,000 Palestinians have jobs in Ma'ale Dumim, so they're bringing every month salary to their family, and this is what make us a human being for them too. We don't have problems with Azariah, we don't have problems with Jericho, and they all the time asking us not to build barriers or security fence between us and them, and they all the time says that they want the people there. They want good relations with us. They want to work with us. They want to exchange culture with us. But their problem is their leaders. Their leaders that are from Hamas or from terrorist organizations don't let them to be closer to us and to make closer relationship, better relationship with us. And this is the problem.
Mel, what were we have about a minute left, impressions of all your years with Ma'ale Dumim? And through the years, do you see success?
I marvel at the growth of the city of Ma'ale Dumim. I have sent a number of friends who've made Aliyah to live in Ma'ale Dumim, and they are happier now than they've ever been in their lives. They say they wouldn't live anyplace else today but Ma'ale Dumim, and they credit much of it to the government of the city led by my friend Benny Kashriel over all these years. He has done a magnificent job. When you drive through the city, you can see his hand on so many different entities within the city. There are some things that are still lacking and needed, like entertainment areas for young people, which we hope to build in the near future, movie theaters, restaurants, things like that. But as the city grows and there's more population to support it, I'm sure that will all come in the next few years.
Thank you very much, both of you, for coming on. And Mayor, congratulations on your re-election by 77%. It should only happen to our friends here. Thank you both.
Thank you, Shannon.